What's good, everybody? What's going on, man? It's Stephen Qualls II, aka Mr. Qualified. It's your boy, and we are back with another episode of the Wright Quality Podcast. Friends, co-host, and special guest. Please introduce yourself or remind the people of who you are.
Ashley Wright the first. And before Miguel starts, I have a question for you. Were you always okay with being like the second, or would you rather junior?
I think for a long time I wanted to be Junior. I truly did. Only because there are way better, like I feel like there are more nicknames that just come Junior. Like Junior, for example. It was easy. But the second is cool. Yeah, I don't know. I've never been asked that, but I'm really indifferent. I don't know if I want to be Junior more, but it is what it is.
The second is cool. It's refreshing. You don't hear the second often, and it feels noble.
I'm gonna get a Sir.
Yeah.
My name. Sir Miguel Brown.
That actually fits.
Sir Emilio.
Sir Emilio definitely fits.
All fitting. Welcome, podcast hosts. What it do? Zal.
I am.
Also, more casual look today. Trying to make you feel like we're all a part of this conversation.
I'm wondering if Al is gonna be in the clips. Like when this get clipped up, like is Al gonna be there? I just know that's gonna throw so many people off.
One big eye. We could just have it just be him. You could crop me entirely and just have it be Al.
And just make it seem like he's giving the takes, the unhinged takes.
There's no unhinged takes. Everything's sound. Everything's sound. PC too.
Well, I don't know, man, because Miguel, a lot of luckily, the record has been lost. So you can try to argue that you didn't say it, but a lot of your predictions for wild card weekend were very wrong. Good sir.
No, what do you mean?
You said Packers are gonna beat the Eagles.
I did too. I'll take the blame too.
I mean, we knew this. That's not even like a wild take. All three of your wide receivers go out. Your star kicker misses a kick right before half. It was just bad football.
Miguel, stop making excuses because the receivers didn't go out to the second half.
I just said bad ball. I mean, we lost. We didn't have our number one receiver before the game. I mean, number one is Jaden Reed, but Christian Watson tore his ACL.
So he's not our number one receiver.
And then we have a kickoff where he's on the ball. I've never seen that he goes on the ball on the cameras and then they give it to the Eagles. So it's like, there's going to be errant calls. That didn't decide the game either, but it's just like that doesn't help the game where they start off with a tutty early. They were playing behind. I don't know. More NFL heads can explain that to me, but that was, questionable.
Yeah, no, a lot of it was questionable. I didn't see the review, so I didn't realize how close the play was. And I didn't even realize that there was a discrepancy in terms of the fact that Nixon got the ball back. But yeah, it was a terrible start to the game. It's really hard to explain. Like, I don't really know what happened. I don't know what version of Jordan Love this was and why he decided to show up that particular day. You said what?
Post Toyotathon, Jordan Love. We discussed this.
No, you kept bringing up Toyotathon and saying that's why they was going to win.
No, but that's the history. Post Toyotathon, we lose. Toyotathon was over. Now saying he was going to beat these allegations. Toyotathon, Google it. Do your research. Do your homework. Toyotathon's making and breaking a Jordan Love. So we just need to call Toyota, extend Toyotathon through February. We'll be good.
Well,
we can get on the board there somehow.
Well, we know that that's not going to happen. But however,
love to market Toyota a little bit more. There's going to be high tariffs. I mean, like they got to push products somehow. So, I mean, I think an extended Toyotathon should hype the crowd.
Yeah. And then if you have like the Tundra as the gift to the MVP player, he might make it.
The frozen Tundra. It's the perfect ploy. Toyota. At Toyota. Clip this. At Toyota. Please. Toyotathon through February. MVP gets a Toyota Tundra, and then the first one to get that is the Toyotathon merchant, Jordan Love, because he's going to get a Super Bowl ring because you extended Toyotathon. Toyota. If it doesn't flag not once, we're going to Hyundai.
That's crazy.
Company, so they're in the family. We're going for a more high class Regal look after that.
Right. But what are the keys to the offseason? Or what are the things the Packers need to focus on the most in the offseason?
Replace Jair, get a better defensive, get a.
Well, Jair is gone. Actually, he probably will not be back. So
I know it just sucks, but
health guy.
Yeah, availability is the best ability.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, replace him. Then we get a defensive end so we can get some pressure on the ball. I guess get a new O lineman because also yeah, from that point on, we lose our right tackle and then it's a wrap. I mean, 6 penalties throughout the course of the game on plays where we make progress. What do you do about that? Like second play, Eldon Hawkins. If we need to replace him, then that's priority number one. But I don't know. I see Xavier McKinney DMing or adding Devontae Adams, saying like, "Hey, run it back." See rumors of T. Higgins being thrown around here. Personally, I'm not mad with either or. I was saying in our group chat, like, Tay is a great vibes guy. Get the young receiver core, like, some vet experience, some vet, knowledge to pass on. 32 is typically the year where, stats go to die for prime wide receivers. But yeah, I don't know. T would be a great, young number one to throw amongst those guys, or a great complimentary addition with Jaden if Christian, is going to be sitting the year.
I think that's a good chemistry fit too. Like T. Higgins amongst a young core like that. But, like they're all young and T is young, but he plays like, a seasoned vet. So it's like a good balance for Green Bay to go after somebody like T. So I would honestly be interested to see what that looks like.
Yeah. I think O-line and pass rush is where they're going to go, just to, if our running game is good, Eagles O-line decimated us at times, like late game. So is that the recipe? Like, do the Eagles make a push with Saquon? Then we might as well do so with Jacobs and give, Jordan Love help that way.
Well, which is crazy because it's not like Jacobs had a bad season. Jacobs had a damn good season, to be completely.
Now imagine if we bolster that O-line even more and make his job. The Eagles had a whole yard on every other team in the NFL in terms of like initial yardage that Saquon gets before he gets contact. Like the average in the league is 1.1 yards, and then the Eagles give him 2 yards of space before he even sees his first bit of contact, which is nuts. Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, it's hard to tell what the Packers will do. I agree though. I think just keeping the O-line good. I don't think we were terrible in general this year, but definitely room for improvement. Shout out to the defense though. Definitely a huge turnaround from years past in terms of defense. The fact that it was only a 10-0 game at half, based on everything that happened, speaks to the defense. So definitely think you can only get better there. And if you do find a way to replace, Jair without, taking a huge, step back, I think that will all speak to that. But it'll be interesting to see how they draft. It'll be interesting to see how aggressive they are in free agency, if they'll kind of replicate what they did last season. But I mean, I think hopes are still high. I don't think anybody in Green Bay expected us to win a Super Bowl. I think we may be expected to contend and be a little better than how we looked toward the end of the season. But nonetheless, a lot to build on. But
the wrong time.
Yeah, definitely lost momentum at the wrong time for sure. But as far as the rest of the wild card games, a lot of blowouts. Miguel, you also said the Bills were going to lose.
I did too.
Don't worry, Lamar about to do. Hey,
No, Miguel, explain to me why you thought Denver was going to win this game. I want to know because they got demolished in the second half.
Bills hater. I mean, also known fact.
I was on the Bills hater train. I like Josh Allen, but is he MVP? No. Lamar leads in pretty much all categories when it comes to how a QB is measured. So, like, what's the debate here? I don't understand that.
It's a pity.
Um,
It's a pity MVP.
yeah, like Miguel said, it's voters fatigue, you know? So, but as far as like the game itself goes, the Broncos, they were within arm's reach going into halftime. So it wasn't far-fetched. It's just like they got overwhelmed after the halftime adjustments.
MVP. They're really going to give him the MVP. Are we serious? In my mind.
Okay, so is it that he is undeserving, or is it just that Lamar is a better
Lamar
candidate?
is having a year. He's having his best year. You're not going to give it to him his best year after you gave him 2 before?
Mm-hmm. I
Maybe
agree.
I mean, how do you decide? Well,
it's like LeBron in Miami 2012 or whatever that peak year when everyone was like, that one dude voted for Melo in New York because he's like, Melo's the best. And I love Melo. Should have been the first unanimous MVP in our history besides Steph. I'm hitting things around me. Come on now.
Yeah. And I'm a Melo stan, but I agree with this point.
Puerto Rican.
yeah, no.
Carmelo Anthony. That's Puerto Rican as hell. And if you didn't hear it before, you hear it now.
So Texans won.
Called it.
Think you did call Texans.
And I called Rams. So you said I was like way off. Man, we can't trust you. That's
well, we
crazy.
all called Rams. We all called Rams.
Okay,
Did you call Washington? Did you say Washington was going to win that game?
Absolutely. I said Jaden Daniels about to get it done.
He did.
He did. He most definitely
did. 3 for 2. Hold
on.
I mean, hey, you're barely over 500, but I'll give it to you. You're barely over 500, but I'll give
I think it was how adamant you were.
I'm a homer. And what? You want me to go against the Packers?
No. I mean, we all I went for the Packers. I'm not saying you were adamant. I said we had a chance.
Got it done.
You said no, Philly's getting destroyed, is what you said.
Absolutely. I still stand on that statement. If we had a tackle there, that's what I'll put it on. I said we didn't have 3 wide receivers, which we didn't.
Sometimes a team is just better. And sometimes
and also calls don't go your way sometimes too. Like I said, all signs are you can't start off a game like that and expect to win a playoff game.
Oh, well, true. Yeah, no, agreed.
Full stop. So, those elements didn't help, but, we didn't set ourselves up in the best position. And we all, ball did not go our way in any way, shape, or form. I'd rather us go into the playoffs or go into the offseason recovering instead of trying to push a decimated wide receiver core, no right tackle, and post Toyotathon Jordan Love and going for a Super Bowl push. For what reason? Can we just talk about the downfall of the Vikings just a little bit more and the praise of Jaden Daniels for a second?
We don't have to talk. I said the Vikings weren't for real this season. We don't even have to get into
it. Hey, but let's just say it. They weren't. Fake front runners. Front
runners.
But they were, for a game they were, and then they lost the Lions. And then Jaden Daniels, a doink for the win. The doink heard round the world. Great ending. Phenomenal start to this young man's career.
Mm-hmm.
It's either him or V's in the Super Bowl that I take from this side. So, I'll take it. It's a win-win for me.
It's either him or who in the Super Bowl?
V's.
Okay.
If Detroit, that's my dark horse hope for this. Detroit makes it to the Super Bowl. V's drops a surprise album. Oh, or Baby Tron will probably be like, yeah, they lying on us or something like that.
Lord have mercy.
Call me. We're here. Chock full of ideas. Anyways, divisional. Bills Ravens. You know what we're saying there. Please.
Yes, I'm picking the Ravens in that game.
Please.
This does feel like the game for MVP. I'm not gonna lie, and it shouldn't be, but it feels like it.
It is.
I need this Ravens fans.
It's a legacy game for both of them.
My God!
Think about it. I say it for this reason. I truly think that this is probably the best chance they both are going to have at getting Mahomes, assuming that they win their game. This is the year to beat potentially the least scary 15-2 team or 14-2 team.
You know, kind of take away from it just a little bit.
What?
One of them wins. CJ gets Pat before both of them.
Yeah, high key.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. Because then it's like, well,
who cares?
Okay. Beat him. Oh man, that'd be poetic almost. Damn. Oh man.
But it is. I do feel like it's somewhat a game for MVP, but I also think that I think it's a legacy game for both of them because they're having these MVP seasons. They've been in this race for second virtually for the last few years. And they're in this place now where it's like, what other opportunity
will they have?
Are both of you going to have to get to the mountaintop? This is really the year. So I think it's going to be a huge game, but I think Derrick Henry is the X factor. Lamar has not had somebody who can take the weight off of him in this capacity in his career. And when you have somebody who that's 100 yards, you can just about count on. You know what I'm saying? So Lamar don't even have to do or be counted on for as much, which just leaves more room for him to excel, to be honest. But I think it'll still be a really, really good game. But do got the Ravens coming out of it. So yeah. Oh, I didn't know there was anything additional to add.
Right, yeah.
Okay, Texans Chiefs. How we feeling?
Okay. Okay. Of course, I'm not betting against Pat. Do feel like the Chiefs are going to win. But I don't know, for some reason, it feels like if CJ Stroud does, it's not going to be surprising. I guess based on, like you said, Steve, this is the most vulnerable 14-2 team we've ever seen. I think so. Yeah.
Are they healthy minus Tank Dell, of course?
Yes. Nico Collins is back, of course.
And then Diggs.
Mixon.
I saw on Diggs commercial. I thought that he was really injured. They got me.
Wait, Diggs is back now?
I thought he was done for the season.
Yeah, he's done.
Oh, see, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, wait, what? I missed that. What happened?
He's been out for like half the year.
I know.
Was it his ACL too?
I think so. Some leg injury.
So that commercial is real. Okay.
Yeah, it's real.
Damn, I've never seen a dude get a bag off of like, I'm hurt. Good for him. Bold. Yeah, no Chiefs. No Stephon. Yes, just Nico Collins. No.
There is something that CJ will have a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that I think will
happen. Right from behind.
Well, yes, he'll be playing from behind. I do think that the weather will affect them. I think it'll be a good game, though. I do think it'll be a better game than some may expect. I don't know how close it'll be, but I just think a lot of things favor the Chiefs.
I think it's going to be really close. I think when you say it's going to be a good game, I think you're right. I think I say the Chiefs because I know the fix is in, somehow, some way.
The black magic will appear.
It was like if you gave Aaron Rodgers 2 minutes, if there's any time on the clock.
Yeah.
Well, sorry. 3-point game or less, touchdown or less, it'll happen.
So we have Lions and Commanders. Yeah, Lions and
Commanders. Yeah.
And then
Lions real.
Aiden Daniels.
I thought it was Lions Rams, but it's Lions Commanders.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Rams Philly.
Mm-hmm.
So
come on, Matthew Stafford. Come on, Matthew Stafford.
It's gonna be, you know,
Passing versus running.
I mean,
Oof.
here's the thing. Philly is a bit unpredictable because Philly seems like they seem like a second half team, right? At least based on some of the games that I have seen. They more so it's like a wear down. Like if they don't get that rhythm in the first half, like they're just gonna keep doing the same thing, and ultimately that rhythm is gonna come in the second half. Uh, I Philly doesn't seem like this team that's like unbeatable though. Like Philly, you don't feel the same way about Philly like you do the Chiefs, right? Like you don't. There's not this idea of fear. I'll say like you respect them and you respect Saquon, but you don't fear Philly. Like you're confident against Philly. So I think them versus the Rams is going to be interesting. Hard to say who's going to win. If I had to pick, I think it's still going to be Philly. I think this is what they got Saquon for, and I think that's what this is going to come down to. So, still taking Philly in that matchup.
See, I think you agree.
Yeah, I agree, but I'm just being biased here.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna go for the trifecta. I got us actually. So I think the Rams are gonna win, but I'm gonna say the Eagles are going to win. It's a win-win because I'm either wrong and I jinx them, or I'm right and we're one step closer to saying we lost to the champs. It's fine. We look like that because we lost to the champs. So win-win either way.
So champs means that they go on to the NFC Championship. You have them winning it all.
I'll say that in the next ones.
Okay.
Yeah. Great wins. But I'm going to say the Eagles win because it's, boom, cyclical.
So, okay.
Don't worry. Yeah, we'll get to that logic later in the next episode. We don't have to think about it right now. Mm-hmm. We'll dissect that then.
Commanders, Lions.
Come on, Jaden Daniels. Come on. So I'm rooting for all things NFC. Don't get me wrong. But if we all got out of here too, I'm not mad.
No, that's real. Do the Commanders and Jaden Daniels have enough momentum to potentially knock off the Lions? And will playing the conditions shouldn't make that much of a difference for them.
No, it's a dome. So
boo, okay. Soft, boo. Be a real NFC North team. Well, Lions too. Oh, sorry, not Lions too. Vikings too. Bums.
And the Bears' new stadium is supposed to be a dome. So.
Oh, and they suck. That's why, because they need to give their QB any chance to hold his little grubby fingers on that ball. It's all trash. Anyways, there's a non-zero chance. Am I using that phrase right? Yeah, there's a non-zero chance that they could beat the Lions.
So there is a chance that they could beat the Lions.
Yes, because it's all about how you're trending going in the playoffs, and they've been,
trending up for sure. Trending up.
So, depends. Like, are the Lions the Patriots of this year? Are they the team? Which I think that they are. But typically, that team gets knocked off when it's the Super Bowl, a la the Patriots, a la insert great team that lost Kansas City once. So, yeah, I don't know. There's a possibility. But the Lions have been so good.
They've been so good all year. And it's hard to think that. And you got to think they're coming off of last year where NFC Championship game, not beat convincingly. You know what I'm saying? Like, easily could have been them in the Super Bowl last year. So this is insane.
But it's it's a week off, does that hurt them? Do they need to be a team that's just rolling week to week of like, hey, another one? Like, did that week off make them ease up just a little bit?
I mean, you could argue that, but I don't feel like that's the case.
Dan Campbell drinks like 8 coffees at 6 a.m., so he probably won't let them.
I was just about to say, I can't see them ever laying off.
Yeah,
We'll see how they start that first half this coming weekend. I'm interested.
yeah. I mean, I still believe it'll likely be them in Philly in the just because they've been the most consistent teams throughout the season, and I don't see them and with them being as healthy as they're going to be, uh, and momentum is in their favor. I think, like you said, even though they've had the time off, the Lions have just been that good all season. That I mean, yeah, is what it is. So
I was 4-2 last week. I know I said 3-2. Correction, 4-2 last week, but you made it seem I was terrible with that. What was I talking about in that last episode? Blasphemy, by the way. 4-2. I'm gonna go with the on wax. We're here. We're live. This is staying recorded. The Commanders are beating the Lions. That's my
What's your
upset.
witness?
That is my upset. So I got Ravens. I got Chiefs. I got Eagles, which a little trickeration there. And then I got the Commanders beating the Lions. That's my bold choice of the day. That's my clickbait. It's my clickbait. Tap in. See the full episode. Am I for real?
In my heart of hearts, I feel like I got all the teams you said, except my upset is the Rams. I'm still going with the Lions to be the Commanders. I got you. I'm saying it loud and proud. I'm saying it.
Steve, are you just gonna be, normal and just say I'm gonna overdogs?
What is normal anyway?
dogs is crazy.
Oh, sorry, the overcats.
Overcats is even crazier.
Yeah, overcat.
But got the Ravens. I can't claim it. Like I can't confidently take Texans. Like would I like to see it? Yes.
Oh,
But I can't say I can't do it. Ravens, Chiefs, Lions.
say it with me.
I'm taking the Eagles because
Gosh.
I'm going with it's Saquon. Honestly, it's Saquon for me. Like
I love him, but
that's gonna be the X factor. Like if this was just Hurts in the offense, it wouldn't I wouldn't be sold. I think Saquon will be the X factor in the game. Like it'll be a good game, might even be close, might even come down to a field goal or a touchdown. But it's gonna be Saquon having that impact that makes it happen. So as much as I could care less about what Philly does, I still think they're going to win this game.
So what are our records? I think me and Ashley were both 4-2. What did you have all the same picks as last week?
Just about. I know I picked Packers. I picked
You
Bills.
had the Bills. You had the Bills. So
I picked Bills. I picked Ravens.
yeah, I think he's 5-1 because you said Minnesota, or you said the Rams. I'm sorry.
I definitely said the Rams. I don't remember who I picked between Tampa and Washington.
I think you went with Jaden.
It would have made sense for me to go with a black.
Yeah,
I think he went with Tampa. He definitely went with Tampa. We're all
because
4-2.
yeah, it would it would have been more memorable if you went with the Tampa though.
Okay, 5-1. I'll take it. We'll see.
And then with our Jaden Daniels.
I didn't go with Jaden Daniels, so either I separate myself or y'all prove me wrong.
Well,
Did you go Commanders?
Steve went Detroit.
No,
So
Oh, you went Detroit. Okay, so he could still have one up.
Or I could not up the score.
He could still have one up.
Honestly, that should be worth 2. An upset choice should be worth 2.
no, that's
We've
not.
got to do this next year, kind of like a pod fantasy or something.
Yeah, we do for sure.
Rack 'em up. Rack ball. Rack 'em up. Rack ball. I'm about to be.
Rack. No, racquetball is insane.
That's an old reference. See, they don't know what I'm talking about. Couldn't even.
Last but not least, on the NFL, before we head out, this may not apply to every season, but this season put into perspective why it could be an issue and why it is more than likely to be changed. How do we feel about the current NFL playoff format, and do we think it should be different?
As a NFL,
Format in which way?
so like instead of sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, so instead of divisions mattering, basically, they'd follow the NBA format where it would go off record for like those first
100%.
what is it, 4 seeds?
100%. 100%. Like that never made sense to me why there was a 9-6 team with home field advantage when sorry that the NFC North is better than you, but I mean, all of us minus the Bears are going to be in the playoffs 1 through 3 seed every time. Sorry, like just get better.
Miguel, no, we won't. Like because Minnesota's not on the same tier consistently as Detroit.
They're going to be 3. There's going to be a clear 1 and 2.
Are they?
Vikings will eke in year to year. I mean, like they always make it happen. But
I don't think there'll be a top 3 team record wise every year, though.
No. I mean, at 4. I'm saying they'll make the playoffs. Like they'll be in it. But
you're saying they'll make the 7.
Like they would get or wherever they'd be at. Sometimes getting home, sometimes not. But they wouldn't be behind. Who was the team in here? That Tampa was in here with home field advantage when it should have been the Packers, the Vikings, the Lions, the Eagles. That's it. Those are the only teams that should have had home field advantage. And then we end up going to Philly, and we're like 2 games behind, or a game and a half.
But we should have been going to Tampa. That was also on Green Bay.
Oh.
Goes to Philly.
Because we lost to the Bears.
Well, when we lost to the Vikings, that's when we dropped. But the Commanders also beat Philly the second time, which people weren't expecting.
Yeah, so that it wouldn't have mattered because Commanders lost, so then we were automatically sent straight to that game. So it was what it was. Or they wanted a kick, whatever it was. But yeah, I don't know. Season's gotta change. It's bad.
Would you all I don't think it'll ever happen, but how would you feel about the NFL for the playoffs? Well, I guess it would have to trickle down to the league anyway. But what if you just took 14 best records league wide?
No. See, because at that point, and I guess it doesn't matter in like college where the same conference can go head to head in the national. But at that point, you'll have 2 NFC teams or 2 AFC teams in the Super Bowl because it's like tournament style at that point. So I don't know.
But if they're the 2 best teams,
right?
Is that not what you would want to see?
Exactly.
But we don't want that in the NBA though, or do you want it like that in the NBA?
Like, would you be okay seeing Phoenix and Golden State for the chip?
If those are the 2 best teams, then yes. I'm completely open to that in the NBA. I'm not going to lie. Top 16 teams by record and duke it out.
It would make it a lot more entertaining.
Because you got to think like what are you playing for at that point? Because by conferences, and granted it's a little bit different in the NBA and NFL because divisions matter way more. So you're playing more for your division in the NFL because your division guarantees you a home game versus playing for record, just to be the highest that you could possibly be versus, we 8-9, but I won my division. So that's all I care about is winning my division virtually. Whereas in the NBA, it matters within conference because for a while you're only looking at your conference. Like I gotta get to this team. I gotta get to this team, or I can middle around here because I also know where this matchup in my conference will be. Whereas if you had to be more cognizant of like, if we're taking the top 16 teams league wide, that 8-9 matchup could be like, it makes it where you can't try to get a favorable matchup because to say there's a matchup that's favorable when you're playing that game of just top 16 by record.
That's a good point because this season you can't tell me that the Chiefs allowed the. Well, I know that they were resting their starters for a reason, but the Broncos winning that game caused the Bengals to miss out this year. You dang sure want to play the Broncos more than you want to play the Bengals. So that's a good.
So it, and I don't know if I don't. The Broncos had a better record than the Bengals, didn't they?
But if they lost that last game of the season, the Bengals would have made it.
Right. So, like I said, it's a little bit different, from NFL to NBA. But I guess that conferences and divisions offer structure, so you got to have some type of base to work with. But at a certain point, especially once you're talking about the postseason in any sport, I think you're going to want to see the best. And if it just so happens that I don't think it's a bad thing that if the two best teams just happen to be from the same conference, but that's how we really get to decide who the best of the best is, or at least those two teams get to play for the highest stakes. I don't think that's unfair. Do I understand why logistically it may not make the most sense? Yeah. But for the sake of the best playing at the highest stakes, that's why I'd be open to it. But logistically, I think we're very far. Well, we're further from that happening in the NFL and the NBA, but I still think we're a ways from it becoming a legitimate thing for sure.
I think the primary reason why, at least in the NBA, why personally it doesn't work for me is that if you do end up getting two teams from the same conference, they already play each other double as much throughout the year, which is 2 more times. They have game planned them more. It might bring in less viewership because people have seen this matchup more. They might see how it is played out and like, oh, it's a little bit more lopsided than, one might put on. I think it, for me at least, it hinders more than helps in terms of like viewing experience because like I think a lot of guys like see certain matches like, oh, we don't see that a lot because they're not in the same conference. That's an enticing watch to see more than, Lakers, Clippers. Let's say those are the two best teams in the bubble, like Paul George, Kawhi versus LeBron AD. It's like, okay, we saw that 4 times already, and all those were on prime time because, like, of course we're gonna do that. It's like, do I want to see that for a 7-game series when it's like I've seen that play out more times than not? When it's like if they played twice, it's like, okay, they split the series 1-1 or they got them twice. It's only 2 games. It's not that big of a sample size to say that, that was a crazy game. Like when we see teams play during the regular season, those are must-watch games or must-buys because they only come to town once or, you'll only see them on TV once or that matchup twice.
That's a great point. I'll give you your flowers on that one. However, is there any difference in the fatigue that people will get
from season to season matchups, like where it's like we saw this like playoff seeding, we saw like how this is played out,
more so the idea like that when the Cavs Warriors era was a thing, and it was almost to a point where we knew that was going to be the finals matchup.
Lakers Celtics of like the late 2000s,
right?
Yeah.
Like, is it that much different to say that okay, yeah, they only played each other 2 times in the season, but we know they both about to run through the conferences anyway, so we could just pack all this up and put them in the finals and not really have to see the 2 months before that. Like, I mean, obviously that's a bit of a stretch, but I'm saying
what would happen if they were in the open seating anyways, that they'd run.
In the open seating, let's just say that they both ended up being 1 and 2 in the open seating anyway. We still see them in the finals, what I mean? But honestly, I think in the NBA, the open seating just makes for way more interesting matchups because although you may have same conference and they play, because you got to think, if 2 teams from the same conference made it to the finals, you've seen them play 4 times already. You're still seeing that with the conference structure. Like the Eastern Conference Finals and the Western Conference Finals are two teams that have seen each other 4 times already. The only difference is they're still playing to get to the plateau, which I'm assuming is more so the point. But it's like you still have to see that series. Like to still get the best of the best from the conference, you're still seeing two teams that know each other really well game plan. So if that was happening on the largest stage, you still got a game plan. So who's the better game plan? Which players still show up, more? Which players impose their will more? In an ideal world, that's creating room for the best of the best to play each other versus the best of each conference, because that doesn't necessarily mean best of the best just because you're the best of your conference. Now, the conferences are more equal now than they have been in the history of the league. So it's easier to make this argument now, but like I feel like your argument will make more sense if this was the NBA a decade ago when the West was still, as they always have been, like 9, 10 teams deep, but the East was like legitimately 4 or 5.
And I feel like this too, the NFL has like a way more limited schedule with only 17 weeks than the NBA does with 82 games. So if you're the NFL, you can play around with schedules. And I feel like that's what Roger Goodell will push for. Like maybe you do cross conference matchups more often if divisions don't matter anymore. Maybe you do send an NFC team to an AFC team and vice versa. So
I think there's room to be creative. And I think in this age where you're paying attention to viewership and you're trying to keep people engaged, like you don't have to lose the integrity of the foundation of your league by trying new things. Because ultimately, if it don't work, you can always go back to the old format. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's a gamble worth taking, because worst case scenario is, all right, this didn't work or the logistics aren't sustainable or whatever the case may be. Let's go back to the old format. Best case scenario, you open Pandora's box of what a postseason can look like because of the matchups being so unpredictable now, because they're not based off of, okay, well, let me just get out my division or, whatever the case may be. So I don't know, man. It's 2025. I don't know, man. Let's do something different.
I got one last question for y'all. One last question. So, speaking of changes within the NFL, it was reported that they were going to change the onside kick to a 4th and 20. So, no more onside kicks because now you have to announce it because of the new kickoff format where everyone's pretty much lined up alongside each other. So, eliminating that and creating a 4th and 20 option.
How does that work though? Like,
Wasn't a lot of details. My assumption is that because you have to kick the ball 10 yards away from you when you try an onside kick.
right.
So my assumption is 20 yards away from that is where you would try your 4th and 20.
So are you treating it like it's just one down?
It's
So
just one down.
20, but you just get one shot at getting 20 yards as opposed to taking your chances with an onside kick.
Yep.
So do you still get the ball at what's that, the 25 or the 20 where they kick from?
Oh, that's right. I don't know. Like there weren't many details. It was just something that they're set to discuss during the off season. Because obviously like the surprise factor of the onside kick is now eliminated with the new
Well,
kicking.
look at it like this. I'm not opposed, right? So if I get the ball where the kickoff was going to happen anyway, and I got to get 20 yards, and if I get those 20 yards, I keep the ball and go downfield. Let's hoop. Like, hey, we going to get these 20 yards or we ain't.
At the end of the day, you could just treat it as a quote unquote arm punt or just go for the gusto, and then that's treating it like a kickoff as it is. You're either getting a tutty or, an interception, but it's like at that point, Dan Campbell's going to abuse that thing. I don't know.
I don't know. 4th and 20 kind of makes it interesting though, but it opens the gate because it's one play, right? So like, but also But well, I don't know because what's the probability that you draw a run up knowing you got one chance at 20 yards?
If you got like a Saquon, it makes sense to kind of put the. I mean, but 4th and 20 is crazy.
Like you got one down,
One
you
down.
gotta go to the air.
Hmm.
Too. So I don't know. That may not logistically work because you could easily just put a team in, just put them in coverage and just say, yeah, nothing behind us, basically. You
Hmm.
know, and just guard, you know, the marker. So I don't know. I don't know. I changed my mind. I don't like it. I don't like it. I take it back. Ooh, last but not least, you brought up how you say it again? I don't want to be racist, Gail. How you say his name again?
Carmelo Anthony.
So they changed the rules for the hall. You're,
So Carmelo.
you're eligible after 3 years. And
Oh,
guess who is in the nomination class for the 2025 Basketball Hall of Fame? Carmelo Anthony is in that nomination class. It is we are here. We've made it quicker than we thought we might. But we are here. The rest of the class includes Mickey Arison, Sue Bird, Lisa, is it Blooder or Bluter? I believe that's Iowa, that was Iowa coaches.
yeah, Lisa Booter.
Okay. Billy Donovan, Mark Few, Sylvia Fowles, Mark Gasol, Dwight Howard, Maya Moore, and Amari Stoudemire.
All right,
So
Mark
that's
Few.
the nomination.
I rocks with Mark Few.
Amari of what
Hey,
is it?
if you got to pick Amari or Dwight to be first ballot, who you picking?
I mean, Dwight off of career, but then Amari off of my heart because that is Amari who oh my God, where's my phone? It's gonna die. I need to find this. So he's preaching the word.
It's not that easy for me. I think I'm going. Ooh, that's so difficult.
Yeah,
That's difficult.
I think
It's
they're
not.
both deserving of first ballot,
Yeah.
but I might have to agree with Gail though. I think Dwight. If you had to pick one, I think it would be Dwight, and I think both of them. Well, Mark
I
did.
think it's Amari. I
Mark
think
did
it's
get a
he
chip.
did it for longer in my head. In my
Amari
head, his tenure felt
was
longer.
was Amari's peak longer?
It feels like it. Like the Suns, and then when he got to New York, there was no fall off. But it feels like once Dwight left Orlando,
Yeah, there was
it was a little bit of a fall off.
for sure. I think I would still take Orlando. Well, I don't know. That's tough.
Yeah.
Orlando Dwight versus Phoenix Amari. That's
Yeah.
can't really pick. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know.
I'm taking Amari Israel.
I knew it was about to get racist.
No, what do you mean?
Nationalist.
That's not his name, is it? Hey man. Hey dog.
You know what? I was looking at his handle and I read it as Amari is real.
Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
Racist.
No, my man is. Read that.
You just Israel isn't spelled like that.
What does this
Isn't
mean?
Israel AEL?
You be preaching the word. Y'all don't know. See, y'all be casting a crazy narrative on me. No clue how.
Yeah, Israel is AEL. His is real.
He's preaching the word. L'chaim. He's preaching the word. If I find his stories, you'll see.
Getting canceled, Gail. You are getting canceled.
Deal with the story of
Amari, we love you.
We're gonna deal with.
You hear that, Flem?
Yaakov Avinu, and as we see, Yaakov Avinu is getting older in his age, and he's losing his sight a bit. And he wants to bless Joseph Asadik's children, Ephraim and Menashe, and he goes to bless him, and he put his right hand on the younger, on Ephraim, and put his left hand on the older, which is Menashe.
What is Menashe? With this nigga? Come on! You can't make this up. Y'all act like I don't know ball. Y'all don't even know.
The man said his handle was Amari
Israel.
Israel.
He had me look it up because I thought I was crazy for a second. I'm like, is it spelled different?
Amari Israel is insane. I want you to know.
I said it a different way doesn't mean that it's not the
Hey,
right
No,
way.
no. Because you got on Steve about Emirates or something.
Yeah.
You're talking about
You said
Amari
I said
Israel.
it's real. I said is real.
No, you were saying like the country.
There's a contraction.
You know that this is one of those things where we would say that you are kind of unhinged.
Gail, you lucky this episode is about football. If this episode wasn't heavily focused on football, the title of this podcast would be Amari Israel.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing.
You know what I'm
He
doing?
said, yes, Menashe is going to be a great
I know what I'm doing is so terrible.
I'm about Ephraim. Come on. Parasha Vayashi.
All right, bro. Like,
Shazak.
On that note, before this gets any more out of hand, this has been another episode of the Right Quality Podcast. We'll see who has the better record when we come back after the Divisional Round. Until next week, until next time, we'll catch y'all next episode.
7 seconds or less. Y'all don't know anything about ball.